Hello, Gold participants from around the world. I'm Fleur Bickford, Program Director and MC for Gold Learning. I'm here today with Catherine Watson-Genna, who is here to talk to us a little bit about her upcoming alumni presentation, which is titled Breastfeeding Management Interactive Case Studies. So welcome, Catherine. We're happy to have you with us again.
It's a pleasure to be back, Fleur.
Thank you. So we've talked a little bit before about your lactation background. So today I was hoping we could talk a little bit about your book, Supporting Sucking Skills, because I know that you have third edition coming out very soon. And I would love to know more about just the book in general and maybe a little bit about what led you to write it and also what we can look forward to with the third edition.
Okay, well, there was very little information on helping babies suck correctly for breastfeeding. Most of the speech therapy literature and occupational therapy literature around feeding were based on bottle feeding, so there wasn't very much for breastfeeding, except some little pamphlets. Remember Ross's Retraining Infant Sucking Patterns and things, the little Avery pamphlets that were put out in the 70s and 80s, and early 90s. Since then, there was really very little. So that was the idea behind supporting sucking skills in breastfeeding infants. And now we have just started getting the third edition ready for publication. There's been a lot of exciting new research, some of it coming out of the Hartman Lab and Donna Geddes, some of it from Dr. David Elad from Tel Aviv University and Columbia University, that has kind of refined our understanding of how babies use their tongue during sucking, and all of that is reflected in this new third edition.
Wonderful. I'm excited to see the third edition when it comes out. So something we were chatting about just before we started the interview here, you had just started to tell me a little bit about some new research that you're doing. So maybe you could share some of that information with us.
Yeah, the departments of biomedical engineering at Columbia University and Tel Aviv University and I have a research collaborative going, and our next study that we've just begun is looking at nipple size and shape in moms from different ethnic and racial backgrounds. There's very little in the literature, and most of it is from the plastic surgery literature 60 or 70 years ago. So we really need something that reflects, first off, lactating breasts, and secondly, the modern composition of the U.S. So we're very excited about that.
Yeah, that is exciting. It sounds like it's definitely time for an update. So that's fantastic. Okay, so now I'm hoping you can tell us a little bit more about your topic that you're going to be presenting for us for alumni. I love that you're doing case studies. I think it's always a wonderful way for all of us to learn no matter where we are in our journey as IBCLCs. And I know that you're doing something a little bit different by making your presentation very interactive. So perhaps you could just tell us a little bit more about your presentation.
Absolutely. I have the greatest respect for the audience of the alumni presentations. There's a great brain trust there, lots and lots of experience. So I thought that having people say what they do, what they might consider, what their favorite tool is in these different situations might be very enriching for all of us. So that's why I designed this to be a really interactive presentation. I'd really like to talk a little bit about clinical reasoning, by example, not by lecturing on clinical reasoning, and how we make the decisions we make in each situation. So I think it'll be really, really interesting to find out some of our differences around the world and based on our experience of how we approach things.
It's a wonderful idea, and I know I've seen your slides, and they look fascinating. Tell us a little bit about what you hope delegates will take away from your presentation.
Well, first off, I hope that they'll pick up some little tricks and some little tips. And I also hope that people that are newer in the field will see that there are a lot of different ways to do things, and that you may choose one tool or technique over another for psychosocial reasons. It's more acceptable to the parent, or it's easier for the parent because of specific things about their own life or their capabilities or your own comfort, and that all of those are valid and fine.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. So, for those of you who are listening, you can hear more from Catherine on January 25th at 2000 UTC, so that's 8 p.m. And thank you so much, everyone, for listening, and we look forward to you joining us on the 25th.
All right, so come prepared to type.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Kathy.
Thank you, Fleur. See you then.